Comedian Eddie Izzard says he wants to be the first female leader of the Labour Party.
It's taken the place of a woman that might want that place, and also the next day he may feel like a man because he's gender fluid, isn't he?
I've been out and about asking people whether we should abolish the licence fee.
I've got just a cucumber that I was about to eat.
I spoke at the Oxford Union and they say that I went down worse than anybody who'd ever spoken before. And they'd invited Abu Hamza. Hello and welcome to That Was the Woke That Was, the topical quiz show that gives you the opportunity to go through the wokest stories of the week. On my panel tonight is Connor Tomlinson and Lizzie Cundy and Mahyar Tousi and Phil Dave. Let's get this party started. JACINDA Ardern wants to start fining farmers for their cows farting because she's concerned about the climate.
There was a thing from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, again, full of hot air, where she put out the initial draft of the Green New Deal and they said, right, OK, we're going to ban combustion engines, so we're going to build a bridge to Hawaii and trains somehow, and then we've got to stop the farting cows. So we assume we're just going to chuck them all in the sea or something. This was also the pretext behind the Dutch farmers losing all their land.
I smell something funny here.
But isn't the real solution, Connor? Isn't the real solution, Connor, if cows are farting, to eat them?
One would think, yeah.
I mean, it's not a nice combination of thoughts, but
we can't just kill a cow because it farts. Everyone farts. Oh, I heard you earlier before we got in the studio.
No, you didn't.
I did. We did. But luckily, smells of roses. But look, you cannot. No, don't be so silly. This is madness. But she has been very
yeah, the autocrat with more
extreme.
teeth than brain cells, I do think would actually pass that. So I'm going to say yes.
I would think we're going to say yes on this because she's very extreme.
Well, I'm a bit disappointed that you're right because of the flatulent petal issue that you raised before. But anyway, Mahyar and Phil. EastEnders is going to change their closing credits to reflect climate change. The map will show Londoners drowning underwater.
So, yeah, hang on. Isn't that going to spoil the future episodes in, like, years from now? That's already basically been drowning. That's going to ruin them.
Yes, wouldn't that be a terrible shame? Let's see, how can we ruin EastEnders? Oh, wait.
Submerge it. Sink it like Atlantis.
Well, the ratings are a bit low. Tide.
Who is Danny Dyer, other than the bloke off EastEnders?
He's Dyer by name, actually. But
yeah, it's fascinating, though. I mean, jokes aside, it kind of ruins the whole concept of the BBC with the Royal Charter because this sort of stuff, this sort of gestures are very political. They are very causey, and they are basically saying this is what's going to happen in the future. We've already decided, and we are going to change the closing credits. I'm like, is someone going to complain to Ofcom?
Funny you say that, actually. So we did a little segment on YouTube about the soaps going woke. You got Coronation Street with a new character who says that there's microchips in the COVID vaccine. We played the clip from Coronation Street in that, and YouTube banned us thinking it was us. So we got taken down for a week because we played that. But this is how ridiculous all the soaps have gotten. EastEnders is introducing their drag queen character. They've got a giant mural of an unrelated black woman opposite the Queen Vic for BLM. It's all just trying to brainwash people that aren't plugged into politics as much as we are.
But the problem,
I've got to say, though, even Strictly Come Dancing, I have to say, people aren't watching like they used to.
No, because they're too obsessed with ticking boxes.
They're trying not to offend anyone. And in the end, you know, if anyone's offended, then don't watch. You know, it's not my fault if you're offended.
But it must be such a horrible business being a scriptwriter in this day and age. Can you imagine it? Seriously, the checklist you have to go through before you can even write one word.
Loads of them are on board.
The advantage of working here is I literally just don't care what I say. Therefore, any script is fine.
I see a bit of a problem with this whole BBC thing, if it's actually happening, considering, as far as I know, people who watch EastEnders are from northwest of England and northeast of England. So it's not the Islington types. If they should do that sort of stuff,
or indeed,
with
people who
Coronation
actually
Street,
come from the East
so people
End.
can actually...
Yeah, but people get very upset when they change things. Like with Neighbours, they tried to change it and change the music. People were in uproar. They like that, you know, if it's good and working, don't change it.
But hang on a second. You've saed that the viewers of this TV show are from the north of England.
Yeah.
Well, surely they'd want parts of Islington to drown underwater. They're absolutely delighted.
I still live in London and it might improve the place in many respects.
Hold on, didn't Dirty Den get thrown in?
He did, I think, yeah, he got thrown into the Thames, didn't he? And then he came back afterwards or something.
I have no
idea.
idea.
He did, he got
Something like that.
Dirty Den was very much the Rasputin of the East End, wasn't he? Sort of kill him, throw him in the river, and he's all right.
I don't watch traditional TV anymore. Only youtube.com/MyTC.
Locked. There's no point in advertising your YouTube channel because nobody can spell my teeth. Anyway, is EastEnders going to change their closing credits to reflect climate change? The map showing Londoners drowning underwater.
This is really tricky because part of me thinks maybe they'll do this as a publicity stunt, so it won't be a permanent change. They might do it as like a one-off thing just to prove the point. The BBC's woke enough. I'm inclined to say yes.
Yeah, just a little bit yes.
Do you know something? On my script, it says it's true.
Is it?
I can't believe it's actually true.
I saw the news story earlier in the week. It's 100% true.
Brilliant.
They actually all partnered around COP26 to reference each other, to say, to discuss climate change and discuss the disparate impacts in the Dales and Coronation Street and all this.
So you guys know that this show obviously was recorded earlier this week and is not edited. And so I was thinking that we're going to have to stop the show and alter that because
It's spot on.
People drowning.
It's true.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to have, in
spot on.
EastEnders, they're going to have where people are drowning because the Thames is rising. In Emmerdale, they're going to tax the cows that pass wind.
Yes. Well, look, EastEnders need all the ratings they can get. I think it's going to put.
And in Liverpool, they're going to finally wash the cast of Brookside.
The best part of EastEnders is the credits. So.
Oh, no.
No, it's the boom, 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 boom.
That's the credits.
I know, and it's splash. It is. Oh, just before the credits. That's the best bit.
Do you know, Lizzie, I just want to say something to you. Last night we went to the British Bangladeshi Caterers Award Ceremony.
You went without
It was wonderful.
We did. You were the only person on the panel we didn't invite.
Yeah. Great food.
I'm very hurt.
Connor and Lizzie, HEINZ tomato soup, have signed up climate activists from Just Stop Oil to appear in their latest TV ad.
No, I don't think they'll
not.
jump
No
the
way.
shark that quickly.
No way.
Just because most of them are not photogenic enough. I mean, did you see those two androgynous creatures?
Yeah.
They haven't had a
awful.
wash in quite a while. They'll shine under the studio lights.
I think,
Yeah, absolutely.
I think HEINZ
Disgusting.
tomato soup were absolutely appalled with what they did, throwing that soup over a masterpiece of Van Gogh. No way.
It's not very good, though, sunflowers, is it?
No.
It is. It's a masterpiece. It's amazing.
I
It's a
did
Van
better at my
Gogh.
GCSEs.
Look, it's not about whether it's good or not.
Oh,
it's about the
please.
fact that it's a cultural artefact.
Yes.
And there is no difference between them or the ISIS terrorists in the Middle East that like to destroy bits of their culture overseas to try and rewrite the script. The funny thing is, though, Just Stop Oil earlier retweeted some TikTok from the woman that did it, the pink-haired woman. And she was saying, oh, it's not that bad, you know, we just damaged a bit of the frame. We never would have done it if they would have thrown it without the glass. So we just glued our hands to the wall and that was it. Oh, so it was entirely a performance then. It wasn't sincere.
Why they
we weren't trying to do real damage.
Did she have pink
She just
hair
wanted to look
before
good.
she threw?
They always seem to have pink hair, don't they? They really do. But we had one of them on the show with James Whale. And we said, why are you doing this? He's had no facts. They didn't know what even the real reason why they're doing all
I tell you
this.
what I tend to find, and I'm sorry if I'm going to offend any of the viewers. I suspect I won't be offending any of the viewers.
And I suspect you're not sorry.
But yeah, that's right, actually. But I hate alternative people, right? You know, you normally when you find people with like the orange hair, like they're always really boring, aren't
It's
they?
socially acceptable rebellion. That's all
I mean,
it is.
I you know, when I went to university, there was a girl downstairs who had a number of intimate piercings, right? And the only conversation she had was about her intimate piercings. And in the end, after about 6 months, I got sick of listening to it.
Can I just say, Connor said it's unlikely that it's real because the people that do it are ugly. Have you not seen the trend? Calvin Klein, like 2018 advert, but like, you know, two very good-looking people, like, you know, a man and a woman. Then 2019, 2020 was like an obese person. Now this year, the adverts are a man who's pregnant.
No.
Like, they don't care about attractiveness.
I actually don't think this is true. I don't think the HEINZ soup would do it.
No, they wouldn't.
at
They
all.
wouldn't do an official corporate sponsor.
But
No way.
I do
People
think
would
it's
go
quite
against
it's
it.
an amazing thought, though, that I think HEINZ have been inspired to change their recipe slightly. They're going to now include sunflower oil.
Oh, Phil.
It's not funny.
Come on.
That's,
What can I
very
throw
sweaty.
at you?
that's not funny. I can't hear you. Thank God. Sorry.
I mean, Phil managed to deliver that without even reading his notes.
He did.
I did actually. I remember that one.
He did. Well done.
Well done.
No, I don't. We can say no.
Yeah, I got it
Say
right.
no. I'm going to say the company's probably very woke themselves, but there's too damn
No,
good a PR move.
it won't work. HEINZ are a traditional brand. They wouldn't do this.
Apparently they've got more than 57 varieties as well. They've got like 150. They just quite like the number 57. This is absolutely false.
Yep. Good.
All right. Well done. Well done.
done.
So we've got 1 point each. This party's really getting started. OK, Channel 4 has brought a painting by Adolf Hitler and invited Jimmy Carr to set it on fire with a flamethrower for a new TV show.
Well,
Is Jimmy Carr's punishment for saying controversial jokes?
You see, the problem is I don't think they'll get it that far, really, because if Just Stop Oil catch wind of this, they'll just chuck soup over it. So I don't think they'll get it that far.
Which would you rather do, incinerate a Hitler masterpiece or soup it?
Mind you, actually, if they do throw soup over it, does that mean hors d'oeuvres must be obeyed at all times?
Oh, very quick.
Wow, that was actually...
We have mayors of making you eat
Very good,
this.
very good.
Right,
That was quite
getting
good.
this
that was
from?
quite good, actually.
Also, what happened
Hold
to...
on,
I thought Jimmy Carr was cancelled anyway, but if he's going to go back on Channel 4, that means we could actually be winning this battle.
Yeah,
we could
reversing
cancel
cancel
people.
Jimmy
culture.
Carr is still going, apparently. They let him off his tax
Yeah.
bill and all of that.
Oh, really? Has he paid everything now?
I think he's had to pay up, yeah. That's why he needs to work.
Well, I actually felt a bit sorry for him on those tax things because, I mean, you go into an accountant and they say, here is your tax. He didn't break any law.
No.
I mean, obviously, it was a little bit embarrassing. Although, it has to be said, it did make me laugh when it was exposed in the Panama Papers that David Cameron had money offshore as well.
Yeah.
I mean, look, the problem is that I believe Channel 4 are wacky enough to try something like this, but I don't think I've read that they're doing this, so I'm not sure. I'm a bit between a rock and a hard place.
Well, actually, to be fair, because Jimmy Carr, while he's on Woke, he's an attention seeker, so I think he would do it for publicity and entertainment. And you know, respect.
Oh, I see. Do you think this is his idea?
Yeah, probably, actually.
Oh, in that case, I think it might be true.
Yeah, just
If
cause
it's his
trouble.
idea.
Yeah. Yeah,
You say true?
I say it's true.
Oh, it is absolutely true.
Yes.
You've got 2 points.
We knew that as well.
Come on. Well, moving on from Channel 4, the BBC is just about 100 years old and it's been charging the licence fee for all of that time. And so we went out to Broadcasting House to ask them whether it was time to abolish the licence fee. They weren't very keen. Take it away. Well, the BBC is 100 years old, so I've been out and about asking people whether we should abolish the licence fee and stop sending these people an absolute truckload of money. YouTube star Mahyar Tousi, should the BBC be reformed?
Reformed, abolished, destroyed, that's not going to change anything because the new media is destroying the BBC and the mainstream media. Of course, there's absolutely no point in having an old school model. It's an analog world that's trying to live in the digital era, and it has to go. And there's no, if these idiots, they're saying that, you know, we are talented, our content is amazing. Well, if it's so good, the demand is there. People will pay for it, either with adverts or through subscription.
So there should be more advertising in TV.
OK, why?
They're entertaining. It's more entertaining often than the programs.
Oh, come on, that's a bit cheeky. You're saying the BBC programmes are less interesting than the adverts on Channel 4?
It's been around a long time and it's meant to be reasonably impartial, but...
Is it impartial, though?
No.
How do we deal with that problem?
I don't know, you change the rules or something, but, you know, there are some people at the BBC who don't behave in the way they should.
Do you think it's important to retain the licence fee, or should we consign it to the history books?
I think, we need to get rid of that.
Do you think that now it's time to change the funding model? The licence fee's been around for quite a long time.
Under quite a bit of pressure. I think it should be just discretionary. You know, for those people that want to use it, then fair enough. But I think for a lot of people, that probably it's time for that, I would have thought.
It's the time to abolish the licence fee. What are you going to replace it with?
I don't know, a subscription model?
You're probably not going to get the same quality of higher-level programming, would be my guess. Many people watch the BBC partly because they don't get the advertising. I don't listen to some radio stations because I get fed up with the advertising.
If more people at the BBC were like you, it would definitely survive for another 100 years.
You think so? Well, I just been hired, and I hope they don't get rid of me after this interview. But I just want to say, I've got just a cucumber that I was about to eat when you stopped me.
Okay, well, eat your cucumber. There we go. Can I have a bite of your cucumber? Can I bite?
Yes, you can. You know, this is all about being open-minded, guys, and sharing is caring.
They don't realise that things have moved on. You know, you can have amazing new shows like That Was the Woke That Was.
Do you think the BBC is a waste of money?
I don't think it's a waste of money. I think maybe you should just change your subscription model. I mean, how else are they going to fund things like this egg over here?
The egg looks great. Let's get a view. Let's get a view of the
paper
egg.
mache.
So the BBC licence fee is the goose that laid the golden egg. And always remember, that's going to be served for Gary Lineker's Christmas dinner. Ugh, horrendous. All on Match of the Day. Well, we've had some BBC journalists who've admitted the funding mechanism needs to change, but none of them have told me about the BBC canteen. So it's time to have a bit of food. Turkey Twizzler and chips, yum yum. A vegan who failed to deal with a mouse infestation in her home has been fined by Essex Council. The pensioner said killing the mice went against her ethical beliefs.
This is absolutely true. I remember reading it and thinking, an elderly woman this mad who lives alone doesn't have a cat to chase the mice away. I almost couldn't believe it myself.
That's a very good point.
But she did say they were her pets. I've seen photos. There is... it's not the nicest.
Awful.
She was in a terraced house as well, so the neighbours either side had to deal with the infestation. Not great. Not great
that is
at all.
awful. But all old people have cats. I don't.
OK, well, you're not old.
Thank you.
You could have fooled
parts
me.
of you that are no more than 2 or 3 years old.
I mean, the real
Why won't
irony
get
behind
one free
this...
at Sainsbury's?
I mean, the real
Thank
irony
you very
behind this,
much.
of course, is that vegans are against my ethical beliefs.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Hey, would you have a cull of vegans?
Would I have what?
A
Sorry?
cull?
A cull of vegans? Well, I don't know. I mean, wasn't it recently we found out that apparently vegans stand to live a bit longer, so maybe they've got some sort of superpower or something.
Is that true?
Like that. Apparently,
Nah.
vegans
Yeah, but the
stand
problem
to
is,
live
I mean,
longer.
I don't agree with that.
I don't know how they know that. I think they had to kill a load of vegans
Who
to
wants
find
to live
out.
forever if all you eat is turnips?
And if you look like a Neolithic man pulled out of a peat bog.
And they always look very pale
Yes.
and pasty.
They're
Emaciated.
hungry, that's why. There's
That's
nothing
why.
to eat.
We call
I
them white
know,
people.
but they
They're
just
white
don't
people.
look well.
Watch it.
They don't look well.
I'll tell you what, a friend of mine was telling me all about what happens in Switzerland with citizenship, right? So what you have to do is, after you've lived in Switzerland for like 15 years, you have to prove that you can speak Swiss German, right, and do all the usual citizenship stuff. But then there is a local referendum on whether you're given citizenship, and there was a group of people who campaigned against somebody on the grounds they were a vegan because they said it was not in line with Swiss culture.
Well, so Pitcairn is a little island that's still partially a British territory.
Yeah.
I think we should annex all of the eco-activists to just go live there among themselves.
Well, we're going to go true.
Yeah.
It's a true story.
It is true.
It is absolutely true.
Yep.
Wow. OK.
We're doing good.
OK,
That's it.
listen to this. Don't laugh, right? Comedian Harry Enfield has been no platform by the Oxford Union Society because he used blackface to play Nelson Mandela in 2007.
To be fair, I kind of missed the 2000s. That was the last era of golden TV. There's so
That was
much
the
happened.
last era of being allowed to offend, really.
Yeah, literally. Because a lot of people think it was the 80s and 90s, like late. Actually, no. You look at a lot of the 2000s TV stuff. That sort of stuff you can't say anymore.
I
Can't do anymore.
spoke at the Oxford Union. And they say that I went down worse than anybody who'd ever spopen before.
I can't understand
and
why.
I'm not surprised.
And they'd invited Abu Hamza. So in fact, they reckon Abu Hamza was more popular.
Amazing.
I made what I thought were quite a series of quite good jokes about Labour front benchers, which were considered not politically correct.
But it was the human equivalent of being a cup of cold sick.
Yes. Nobody clapped at all, not even politely.
Well, you used to be able to watch Saturday late night TV, wasn't it? They had the stand-ups, Harry Enfield, loads of money. And it's just so funny. We're not allowed to do that anymore.
Do you know?
You have satire.
I've got a friend of mine who loves he loves Chelsea Football Club, and whenever he goes to Liverpool, I'm not joking, he gets a toilet roll, puts one £50 note round it, and then waves it.
See, I blame like the Jon Stewart types for this because they went on Crossfire on CNN back when they used to have Tucker Carlson and a left-wing host, and they used to argue back and forth. And he went, no, this show is propaganda because we can't platform the other side, basically. And then they turned all the late-night comedy TV shows into propaganda arms. You had Stephen Colbert dancing with people dressed as vaccine needles, for God's sake.
Do you mean like a real goose? Oh, I see, propaganda, sorry.
No.
But that's why we needed the James Whale show. That's why the Saturday night
Can
show
I
does
tell you
so well.
something? It's like having you here is like opening up a big Christmas cracker.
It's true, actually. Because what you don't know is that I do actually have a part-time job writing cracker jokes.
Oh, and I'm dressed as one tonight.
No, I don't. But anyway.
Why did we believe that?
It's amazing. You believe anything I
It was
say.
believable.
No, am I the only one who sees the irony in this story, though? The fact that Nelson Mandela has caused division.
That was good. It's weird. There is a double standard.
Or that Harry Enfield was locked out as a result of Nelson Mandela.
There's definitely a double standard. Obviously, we can all admit that this Harry Enfield thing, there's a bit extreme in terms of even comedy of it. But in America, left-wing comedians dressing up as Donald Trump, oranging up and all that, and doing the whole thing,
that's
it's fine.
Yeah,
but
that's fine.
then when right-wingers try to do it, even with Biden, who's just a white old man, they were like getting cancelled left, right, and centre.
I
you
know.
can't do politics.
It's not even that.
No, because everyone knows he's senile. You're then.
Yeah, but Justin Trudeau isn't.
People with dementia.
Well, I was going to say there's two things. I think, first of all, there's the Justin Trudeau thing, although you can't criticise him. He was the first black Canadian Prime Minister.
Yeah, he did a wonderful rendition of Deo.
I've got to accept that. But the other thing that I do not understand. Right, so
only one thing.
Justin, yeah, well, there's many.
There's many things.
Justin Trudeau, look, was just racist, right?
Yeah.
Harry Enfield was impersonating Nelson Mandela. I don't understand why you're not allowed to impersonate people.
Yeah.
We saw it actually with Craig David as well. Now look, Bo Selector was savage and it ruined his career, and I accept that. But it wasn't racist, was it?
It's about
it
intent.
just needed to be taken off air, and thank God it was.
Yeah,
And he
because
also
being
did
bad.
Scary Spice, Mel. And she loved it. But she loved it, you know, and it depends how.
I love the way
offended.
I love the way on Bo Selector, somehow Craig David, who's from Southampton, was from Leeds, and they'd merged in Kes. Do you remember that film?
Yeah.
Come on, Kes. He had a blast.
But it was funny. You've got to have a sense of humour.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I think you have to laugh in this world.
I loved when he impersonated Craig David, and he goes, I used to come to this club on a Monday. I used to come to this club on a Tuesday. I used to come to this club on a Wednesday. I used to come to this club on a Thursday. I used to come to this club on a Friday. On Saturday, I was knackered.
To be fair, jokes aside, one of the problems we now have is lack of nuance when it comes to dealing with humour and comedy. Intent matters behind any joke that you do. And things are getting so extreme. The West is shooting itself in the foot. And when you have people in Iran right now in the streets, I mean, they're protesting and doing the uprising for various reasons, lack of freedom. But one of the things that you can't have...
I wished I could join in that protest.
Yeah, literally. No headscarves, absolutely fine. But they don't even have basic stuff like humour. They can't even make fun of the members of parliament. I mean,
irony is gone out the window. Even if I say something on Twitter, they're taking me literally. I'm like, I'm being trying to be funny.
Wait, someone takes you literally?
Yes, literally. Thank you very much.
Trying to appeal to humour is futile, though, because they're practising something called repressive tolerance. It's an academic word for hypocrisy. They want to say, we'll permit anything from the left wing as long as it advances our cause, and hit the right wing over the head with a cudgel. And if the right wing appeal to principles like free speech, it doesn't matter if the comedians like Matt Lucas and David Walliams are left wing themselves, and they'll just go, no, Little Britain's racist. Bonk, there you go.
That is the interesting point, because, of course, Harry Enfield was a member of the Labour Party. Yep. And so it shows you that actually they're not bothered about whether he's racist or not. What they're interested in just attacking anybody just to make themselves sound good.
Yep. But that's why we love Ricky Gervais. I mean, how good is he? He doesn't care, and he says just because you're offended doesn't make, you right.
But Ricky Gervais is the perfect example. The best way to handle these things or protect yourself is be uncancelable. Yeah. Literally, just if you make yourself uncancelable, you can't be cancelled. Same with people like Trump. They kept throwing mud, but he's mud. You can't throw mud at mud. You can't cancel him based on a joke he made. You can cancel based on policy. But
and he kind of says, if you don't like it, don't watch.
What colour would Donald Trump be if you threw mud at him? I mean, would it alter?
What about this colour? Sorry. We go to the same spray tanner.
I thought that was real.
I don't know.
I thought that. I mean, there's
we're talking about my skin.
Yeah, that's real. we all know that.
That's
the whole
real,
thing
Andre, she's not Buffalo Bill.
Exactly. Right, you're on my side. No, it is a spray tan, darling. It's not real. Same as Donald's.
Donald's isn't real.
Yeah.
I can't believe that.
My problem is I'm a very proud pasty. I'm sorry.
Yes, you need a spray tan, darling.
I don't.
I have to say, Phil.
The near-dead look is underestimated.
No, you're looking very vegan.
Phil, I like you very much, but you used to do a Donald Trump, didn't you? Combing from all sides.
Yeah, I did. It was before I realised. I know, I was a war beacon.
You went from president to Nosferatu.
Right, okay.
I went to the head of state.
Yay.
Well done. So, OK, has comedian Harry Enfield been banned from the Oxford Union for using blackface to play Nelson Mandela?
They ban everyone. I'm going to say yes.
I'm not surprised. Yeah, probably yes.
That is actually true. And believe it or not, the Oxford Union very rarely cancel
I cannot believe that's true.
Come on, right.
Come on.
Connor and Lizzie. Comedian Eddie Izzard says he wants to be the first female leader of the Labour Party.
I know this. Well, He's gender fluid, isn't he? Because one day he's...
No, he's not. He's a fat old man. He's not gender.
Actually, I mistook him. I thought it was Denise Welsh, and I went Denise, and it was Eddie. I'm sorry.
I thought it was the librarian from Monsters, Inc.
What always makes me laugh, what always makes me laugh is you see these newspapers, and they always have, right, and they know what the viewer or the reader's thinking. They go, Eddie Izzard looks radiant in this dress, and everyone's going, look at the state of that.
Yeah, he is burning my eyes.
It is. No, but Denise Welsh, you can be a lookalike, but you can't make it.
Well, as you know,
anyway, this is a true story.
I don't know. Hang on. I think
It
on a
is.
technicality, I don't know if he said he wants to be the first female leader because he has only just been selected on the female shortlist.
Well, it's for Sheffield, isn't it?
Yeah. So he's not even an MP. I don't know if he wants to tread on the toes of Starmer before he's actually elected and selected.
But now we know why. Now we know why the Labour Party is so reluctant to define what a woman is. They don't want to upset Eddie Izzard.
Yeah, that's probably right. Is Starmer a man or a woman?
Oh, that's a good point. Well, I don't know. What is he?
Well,
he's just
sits on the fence,
he's
but it doesn't hurt him,
a cone. He's got nothing, is he? He's just... Don't know.
I mean, they always, I've always dreamed of having some form of political office. I'd love to be in the House of Lords, but they always say that in the male quota, there's too many men who are former MPs. So the random people are normally women. Should I just become a woman?
Yeah, you could. Well, Keir Starmer. I don't know.
Come on, love.
With a very rough voice.
Come on.
But Keir Starmer, not to know what a woman is, we cannot. That's one reason why he can't be ever our Prime Minister. But I have to say, this is true.
Lizzie, I want to stop you before you answer and just say, because, of course, what with the shambles the government's in, are you sure that Keir Starmer will not be the Prime Minister?
No, I don't think so. I think people want, and looking at Labour, and they're 30-odd points ahead, but they don't want Keir Starmer. I think we need Andy Burnham in. We need a change.
Andy Burnham's horrendous.
I do. He's got lovely blue eyes.
But what makes me laugh about Andy Burnham is he's a professional scouser, but he's the mayor of Greater Manchester.
Yes, I know.
Oh, let's go down and watch Everton.
No, I think listen, for me, I'd vote if Andy Burnham was in. Not Keir Starmer. Keir Starmer's weak, sits on the fence.
We should have the vote.
Even for the strikes, there's Keir Starmer. Does he say he's voting for the strikes? He won't let them go on the picket lines? What is he?
Here's
he
my
just
prediction.
sits on the fence.
Just get Eddie Izzard in and be done with it.
Oh, goodness.
He can tick both boxes then.
Well, then
I mean, I'll tell you the thing
have
about Eddie Izzard, he's about as funny as hepatitis.
The sad thing about the story is the Tories used to make jokes of, the Labour Party can't have a female Prime Minister, and they say, the only way they can have a female leader is if they get Eddie Izzard. Actually, right now, the way things are going, after Theresa May and Liz Truss, I don't think Tories should really make fun of Labour Party not having female Prime Minister.
I reckon they will. Because I reckon, right, the dominoes are falling into place where the Tory party, like Tobias Ellwood, is saying, we shouldn't have members elect the PM. If they try and do that, they will not only upset their base, but everyone else who felt like, we doubly didn't elect this new leader. A general election get called, Starmer will win because people do the losing side of a Halo match thing of, I'll just swap teams from blue to red.
Well, of course, at the minute, because they're shambolic at the minute, the Tories.
I agree, but then Labour are going to stab Starmer in the back very quickly and we'll get Angela Rayner by default. That is my prediction.
But to be fair, look, trans people have a right to do what they want to do, don't they? And if Eddie Izzard feels like he wants to be a woman, does it really cause any harm?
Yes, it does, because it's taken the place of a woman that might want that place. And also, the next day, he may feel like a man because he's gender fluid, isn't he?
It's also just not true. You can't defy biology by fault. I wish him all the best with his personal struggle, but it's just not the case.
And I'm up for anyone being who you want, go for it. But this isn't fair actually on women, and I'm not transphobic in any way, but this isn't fair.
But do you always remember something? He defined himself as a comedian, and he wasn't that. What difference does it make? Yeah. He can be anything he wants to be, other than a comedian.
Well, look, I'm going. This is yes.
I'm going no. So how do we settle the dispute?
Well, Connor actually is sitting in for Dave Chawner, so he technically outranks you today. And I know that's not true when it's on the James Wales.
That's when I'm a woman and you don't even know what one is.
OK, go on.
Go on.
I'm going to say no then.
You are absolutely right. It is.
Okay.
He's never claimed he's going to be the first female leader of the Labour Party. Wow, we're really doing well. OK, so over to Mahyar and Phil. A woke jail governor in Surrey has prompted outrage after appointing an inmate to serve as a job interviewer for prison wardens.
Now, I don't laugh because I know this is true. I read this week in
Oh my God.
abject horror when I saw that. I just talk about, I'm sorry, the lunatics taking over the asylum. What are you going to do? You're going to give them the keys next and say, here, can you look after this, mate? Seriously.
Yeah. What would be the key concern of the prisoner? You know, sort of. Well, make sure the door's left open. Yeah. So we can, let's improve the prison food.
Yeah. Whereabouts in the States is this supposed to be?
No, it's in Surrey.
In Surrey.
It's here.
I thought it was in,
it's in this country.
I thought it was in America.
No. It sounds like it belongs in America, but no. It's absolutely here.
As if the Arizona State Penitentiary is going to have any wokery.
Mind you, actually, having said that, I mean, you need to take inspiration from the way that sort of the Conservative Party have chosen their leader recently. Technically speaking, those who are supposedly in respectable positions are not much good at actually choosing who they want to take charge of them. So actually, I say, why not? Let's give the ardent criminals a chance of saying who wants to lead them.
So let's just be clear. You're thinking that the Conservative leadership race,
yes,
selecting Liz Truss, is evidence that criminals should have political power.
And I'm just saying that it might be worth a thought.
And with Jeremy Hunt, they already do.
And I was going to say, are you saying that the main parties don't have criminals in there? We've got a list of them who've been convicted.
I've got to say to you,
well, anyone better than Jeremy Hunt, let's be honest.
I didn't know anybody who'd been to court or been to prison until I joined the Conservative Party. And I'd go out and see shed loads of them. Oh, don't worry about Ben, he's been done for fraud. He's like, do you know something? I had a friend, I'm not joking, I won't say who it was, but I've got a friend of mine who later went to prison for fraud, and they said, oh, we'll make him the treasurer of our organisation. He's a convicted fraudster.
Yeah, but he was good with money.
He knows how to not get caught again, that's why.
Exactly.
That reminds me. The whole system is messed up and crooked because right now, Jeremy Hunt came up earlier this week announcing the new kind of budget's completely gone and is setting up a new advisory group, like a new OBR to sort out
prisoners.
Yeah, but he's got the guy who was advising George Osborne in the Treasury to come and assess it. I'm like, firstly, it's a bit biased. Secondly, these guys didn't really do a good job anyway.
Well, they're tried and tested and failed.
It's called a mini budget because it was only going to last 2 weeks.
The thing that amazes me about Jeremy Hunt coming back is this. Right, has anybody mispronounced his name other than at the BBC? Oh, Jeremy, oh no, I've done it accidentally. Oh,
LBC did it once, and I had to narrowly avoid it on my...
Listen, I've got a dodgy surname, right? But it is slightly worse than mine, and it does happen. It happens to me.
I mean, it's very different.
I cannot understand how people can't say the word Hunt.
Well,
I believe.
I love the way you're saying this with the surname Andre Walker.
Again,
you had a great time at school, didn't you? The most concerning thing about Hunt, though...
A Walker is fine, that's nothing wrong with that.
You squeak when you walk.
Walker...
I don't squeak when I walk.
Lizzie should know.
Yeah, anyway, you missed that one. Moving on.
Yeah, the most worrying thing about Hunt is, though, right, when he had a fraud probe in 2019, years before, him and his wife's real estate business had liabilities of 4 million. 4 million 2018, 4 million 2019. As soon as the fraud probe came in, 47,000, then 17,000 last year. Where'd all that money go? That'd be an amazing question for our sitting Chancellor. I have some sincere concerns about that, but they're not going to get answered.
Well, I don't have any concerns about it because I don't know what you're talking about. But anyway, has a woke governor in Surrey used the prisoners to interview the prison guards?
I'm sorry, it is 100% true. I read it and it was
trust
it is true.
It is true. Do you know what we should do? 1 week we'll go and do some box pops of prisoners being released.
That's outrageous.
I actually think we should elect a convicted serial killer for Prime Minister, because if they do a really bad job, we can just go, all right, on to old Sparky. Get rid of you quick.
You want to bring back the death penalty as well?
Oh, gosh.
I'm not against that.
No.
Bring it on.
Fantastic. All right, OK. So it's now to Connor and Lizzie. A primary school teacher in Birmingham has been sacked for refusing to use male pronouns for an 8-year-old girl.
Yes. And this happened as well to someone in Swindon who was in a school, and he said, I wouldn't use pronouns for a 14-year-old student, and he was slung out on his backside.
But aren't you just...
This is just getting too much.
Aren't you just trying to be polite to people?
No. You should not affirm the delusions of children, and, if a child said, I'm Superman, you shouldn't say, head on up to the school roof and test if you can fly. That's not good.
But they're giving ideologies. They're brainwashing kids at the minute, and this is the worry.
So yeah, but OK. Look, I kind of agree with you, but where I'm going with this is that, look, I personally believe that you can have some trans surgery or whatever, and it'll make a difference. I know Julia Hartley-Brewer doesn't believe you're a proper woman afterwards. I'm not that bothered, to be absolutely honest. What I'm thinking though is there's a big difference between being these disgusting scumbags at the Tavistock Clinic, popping pills into children as an experiment, and just being polite to some deluded teenager.
No, because socially transitioning them sets them on the road, having been affirmed, to then go down the road for more medical interventions.
When did you start your treatment?
Well, that's why he's got the high collar. I didn't want to say.
My Adam's apple's just shrinking.
It is. Oh, exactly.
The main point Connor's making is the children, because a lot of these kids, especially in America, have been pushed to do it early on, and then when they grow up, when they realise, oh, actually, that wasn't me.
But what I don't understand is, I don't know about you guys, but when I was 8 years, I'm going to sound like a right old man now, but when I was 8 years old, all I was worried about is whether or not the piece of string I had to thread my conkers was long enough. Do you know what I mean? That was all I was worried about.
They're worried about how long the 1800s.
And then you became to look like a conker. No, I'm only joking.
And they were worried about the conkers.
So I was going to say, they don't have conkers to actually know one.
You can't just play. You've got to look at social media, because that's a big problem.
Well,
and I've known a teacher that's worked through from the 80s and is still a teacher today, and said it's all to do with social media. They didn't have any counsellors back there. Now they've got about 10 in the school with children with this sort of
Lizzie,
worries.
I do want to raise what Phil just said, because I think you're the only parent on the panel. I just want to say to you that, I feel that sometimes we are in a position whereby, children's innocence is being taken away. I'm with Phil. Just, playing with Lego and cars and whatever and conkers was what I was interested in at primary school. Ideas of gender just wasn't an issue. Are you worried?
I'm very worried, and I've always encouraged my kids to do sports, outdoor activities, and don't sit in front of the TV on their phones all the time. And I've pushed especially my youngest into sport and my eldest into theatre, because that's what I thought was healthy. And I do think social media has huge amounts to do with it.
I spoke to women at the Conservative Party conference.
I bet you did.
Don't get me in trouble again, Andre. One woman said, one thing we're really concerned about is girls reporting that they've been on TikTok and then going to chat rooms, and where trans activists have said, I'll be your new glitter family. If your family aren't accepting of you, we'll talk you through the process. And so the idea is they're displacing a family by propositioning them as saying, your family won't be accepting of your new identity, it's definitely the authentic you. Instead, we'll come in and we'll provide you the affirmation.
And can I just check, for those of us whose first language is English, what the hell is a glitter family? Sorry.
The idea, and this is written by the person that set up Drag Queen Story Hour in a leading education journal. The Glitter family is a surrogate family of LGBTQ plus activists who say, this is your true identity and we're going to walk you through this. The final line of the paper that was featured in said, we're going to leave a trail of glitter that never comes out of the carpet.
But are glitter families a big thing then? I mean, is it a serious thing? Because I just wonder whether we're being persuaded that there's there's 4 men and a bike interested in this subject.
It's frightening that they're saying there's a glitter family, because a glitter family sounds special, and you'll understand my feelings, what I'm going through, and lure you away because your parents won't have any of it, isn't it?
That's why there's so many different pride flags and so many different colours. It looks more enticing than just being straight to young children. So if you put that in the classroom and you say, OK, draw your own flag, things like that, of course they're going to do technicolor.
But Joe Lycett said that the LGBTQ plus, there can be as many other people and other letters as there are people in the world, because everyone's different. Well, in what ways does that now have any relevance to anything?
As well, at Joe Lycett's big pride party, he had a drag queen there that was doing drugs on camera. So this is not a good example to set for children. Let's keep sexuality and gender away from impressionism.
And do it from the police and the NHS. They spent $1 million on rainbow flags, rainbow cakes, all of this. This is... And police cars have got rainbows on their police cars.
But to be fair, it is quite a useful way of teaching children the alphabet, LGBT.
No.
Is it true or false that a Birmingham teacher was sacked for misgendering an 8-year-old?
Yep,
yes.
Unfortunately so.
It is true.
It is true, indeed. Another point to your team. And now on to Maya and Phil. OK, Netflix drama The Crown has been criticised, wait for it, for suggesting John Major had a one-night stand with Princess Diana in the early 90s.
What? I mean, they've come up with a lot of stuff recently, The Crown, that has proven to be shock horror fiction. I mean, fancy that, a drama that dramatises things. Who would have ever seen that coming? I don't.
And my problem is, on the one hand, John Major is so out of touch, he probably doesn't even know how to log into Netflix. On the other hand, he's a snowflake.
Well, he doesn't have to watch Netflix to have had an affair with the late Princess Diana, does he? I don't mean to be rude.
What he wanted to do was he wants to Netflix and chill.
But I don't know, because I know he likes curry nights once in a while.
He does.
You see, do you know my local Indian restaurant, the Kennington Tandoori, when I lived round there, they used to have a back room for John Major when he was Prime Minister.
For just him?
Well, I think Norma used to have an arm as well.
Edwina Curry had a back room for John Major too.
No.
But actually, look, you're talking about drama, Phil, and I'm not so sure that you're right on this, simply because, it is a criminal offence to attempt to conspire to remove the monarch from power. Therefore, to suggest that Prince Charles attempted to conspire to remove
the then
monarch
Prince Charles.
The then Prince Charles. Well, that was committing a crime against his mum, right? Now, if it was just, I don't know, King Phil and Queen Lizzie, then it wouldn't make any difference. But it's two actual people.
Mind you, actually, it must have been amazing, Her late Majesty, to just threaten to punish her children. Behave, or off to the tower. Fantastic.
But John Major was known to be a bit of a goer. He's very charming with the ladies.
Yes, he is.
That's true. Yeah. But he had the worst
how.
popularity.
It must be something to do with the power.
Do you remember on Spitting Image where they got the Queen to sing Charles Life instead of Park Life? And she's going, all the people, so many people, all hope one won't die till the very end of Charles' life.
There's a point about this grey area with Netflix's The Crown. Obviously, we know it's fictional mostly, but they have to keep clarifying every episode. But some people, especially from the left, and some people like John Major, they get so sensitive to say, this is fiction. Yes, it's fiction. The whole point of it's supposed to be fiction.
The interesting thing is, though, you say that. My granddad said to me a little while ago, he said, give it 100 years and we'll all be gone. And I said, yeah, but give it 100 years and all the kids that have grown up watching this stuff will believe that it's actually historical. Like, they'll look at Bridgerton, for example, and go, everything was way diverse back then, wasn't it way better? The showrunner of Doctor Who once said, when they did the episode of the Frost Fair on the Thames, people said, London wasn't that diverse in the 1800s. He said, yeah, we've got to tell a kind of lie because it would have been better if it was.
It's a slippery slope. It's a slippery slope. And I have to say, John Major was upset, but I'm not going to give you the answer.
I would suggest that it's sort of like the politically correct akin to deep fake, really. It's to try and twist history a bit to make it look a little bit better. But I think that Sir John Major was in the news this week when The Crown was in the news, but that was because he was upset by what they had said about His Majesty, then obviously Prince Charles, allegedly conspiring to oust the Queen as the monarch. So I'm going to say on that basis, they've both been in the news, but I don't think it was in this instance. I think this is fake.
Yeah, I know he was having a meltdown earlier this week, but I don't think, it wasn't over this. Is it on a technical level, we say?
Yeah, so the bit that is false, obviously, is the Princess Diana affair bit. Right. What it was about removing the Queen from office. I thought the best piece of fakery ever was in the film Braveheart, which is massively historically inaccurate. But in the scene...
when he said you can never take our freedom.
Never take our freedom! But I thought what the most amazing bit was that, and this is absolutely true, you can look this up, they got the Irish Territorial Army, the volunteers, to play the Irish Army in the film Braveheart. And when they all arrived, they didn't know that the Irish had fought on the side of Edward Longshank against the Scottish. And they said, well, we can't be on the English side. So they changed the film on the day and turned it into the Irish being on the Scottish side. Utterly ludicrous.
I think John Major would have more things to worry about.
I'm quite good at pub quizzes.
Yeah, that's right.
With his party.
Definitely, there's no way that happened.
Anyway, so on to Connor and Lizzie. OK, parents in Washington have said children should be told the truth about Santa Claus and claims kids are being gaslit by adults.
As in the school should not be allowed to say Santa.
Santa.
Of course.
States. I can't believe this, do you? This is going too far.
By the way, it doesn't say on here which Washington it is. It could be the one in the UK.
Oh, right, OK.
I'm joking, it is the American one.
Some say, that I did hear a piece that they were saying it's not diverse enough, Santa.
Oh, yeah, they did. There was one over here where they did Black Christmas, and they said, Santa needs to be black man, because otherwise black kids can't participate in Christmas. Why are you racially segregating giving presents?
Can I just tell you, when I was in Barbados, there was the best black Santa. It was great fun.
They're attempting to dress up as St. Nicholas, aren't they? Yeah. Who, probably wasn't quite as white as Santa. I think he was a Greek. But anyway.
We'll get Christo on it.
Leave Christo alone. I don't know about this one. I'm going to say no. What do you think?
Well, look, to be fair, I mean, if we're talking about lies here, right, in popular culture, think of what happens actually in pop music. I mean, they've started creeping through to that as well. Fancy saying Leanne rhymes? No, it doesn't.
Oh, he's been waiting to get that one out, haven't you?
Do you know Rita Ora is correctly styled Her Excellency Rita Ora because she is an ambassador for Kosovo.
Really?
She is.
Gracious. Why?
Well, it's fairly obvious why, because she's the only famous Kosovan.
Look,
mind you, having said...
Maybe Ayatollah Khomeini was fairly...
But mind you, having said that, though, if you think about it, if they're worried about being gaslit, I mean, someone's got to be able to light gas this winter. So.
Very good, very good. No, I don't think so, because it's the whole magic of Christmas, Santa Claus. I don't believe this. This has gone too far, too woke. For me, it's not true.
I wouldn't be shocked if they tried to deprive kids of that joy. However, they are wedded to so many fictions, the woke lot, anyway, that I am...
They'll have to take off Home Alone, all the Christmas movies.
But one thing that worries me about this, I mean, I think that Father Christmas and Santa Claus is one of the greatest people in the world, right? And I'm going to explain this, because it requires millions and millions of parents and people in shops and people in offices...
I know you've got the job of being it.
Well, of course, yeah. To conspire together to make this a wondrous time for children. And I think that is a marvellous effort. The problem is with this, when we're saying that everybody has a choice to do their own thing, you know, one person can ruin it for everyone.
I know what you're saying, but I really don't think so. That's going too far. It's too woke.
I'm afraid you're wrong.
We're in the lead.
Elon Musk has brought his own range of perfume called Burnt Hair. He sold over $1 million worth of perfume in the first few hours.
Okay, this is another crazy person, which I admire.
Wants to smell like Musk.
He does a lot of crazy stuff.
He should have called it Musk's Musk.
Actually...
No, he should have called it Billion Hair.
Yeah, there's always one
It's so disgusting, it's good. I love that.
Wasn't there an aftershave called Musk already?
Yeah, there is, yeah.
Oh, is it?
Oh, that's why you can't do that.
That's why you can't call it that, then. It's already been taken.
Why do you keep accusing me of being smelly?
Because you've been at the Bangladeshi Curry Awards last night, and I can smell it.
You can't smell it.
That's not how it works.
It was delicious,
No, it's the curry smell.
OK, but let's think, because I don't think Elon Musk would just bring out an aftershave. He'd have to do something to make it an Elon Musk aftershave. So I don't think I've...
Well, maybe calling it burnt hair was...
No. The thing is, if you
maybe that actually is what it is, you mean?
You're confusing it with Trump. Everything Trump created, like steak, it was Trump's steak. Elon Musk doesn't actually... He never actually puts his name behind something, or he doesn't... He likes his ego, but mostly for fun attention, like tweets and stuff. But he does a lot of crazy stuff, so it's hard to keep up about what he does. So I won't be surprised that if it's true.
Yeah, well, if it's called burnt hair, so I suppose... let's think.
Yeah, what do you think? It's a tricky one. Also, how long time does he have on his hand?
Yeah, because he is currently locked in the Twitter lawsuit. Kanye's just bought Parler, and he just tweeted out a meme of those two working together.
And he's trying to get the war. He's trying to be in the middle of the war.
What's really interesting about this, viewers, is that Connor has just won a point because he's got the final question right before he even... The final question was going to be, has Kanye West bought Parler?
Thank you.
So actually now,
I'm going to say that I think it is true.
It's true.
It is absolutely true. Now, can I say to you, you were about to win, but it's now even Steven. Because Connor has just pulled one out the bag.
So what happens?
We fight.
What happens is we just say that it's been an interesting week. What a cop-out. What a cop-out. No, look, it's been an interesting week at the government and indeed for the entire country. So I want to thank my teams, Connor and Lizzie, and of course Mahyar and Phil. What a great night. Thank you so much. I will see you next week. Until then, goodbye.